Oh man, hand me some Dr. P. All right, all right. Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's been a few months. I think it was in October that I posted about striderbound for the striderbound 2.0 for the first and last time. There was an update video, I believe. Regardless, it's been a while, and still not much to report. But I figured I'd just hop in the editor and show you guys what little I have done. So this is the game as it looked mostly. You might see the one thing that I thought is basically just cranked up Dave's animations a lot. So to show you in the editor, I have Dave. It's a little bit of a mess. All of his animations are here. A bunch of these are from the, what's it called? Advanced locomotion. Those were built in basically. And I retargeted it to Dave's model. It was the whole thing, kind of. So I didn't make any of these. And these combat animations, I have them separated here. These are from Mixamo. So we'll look at his standard attack. We'll look at the montage because that's what Unreal actually plays. I'll bring it over. You can see it's playing very quickly. I cranked it up to 1.5, so it's playing 50% faster than normal. And it was already pretty quick. And this just, it looks weird because basically if you want a faster animation, you have to make it actually snappier. So I'd have to make it myself, essentially. Is what we're getting at there. And I might do that. Again, I'm not great at animation, but that's part of why I'm doing this is a learning experience. So I think that's worth doing. What we can look at with the animations, just the dial turned up, even though it doesn't look good, we can see what that means for the game feel of our combat. Because one of the comments I got on the previous video, I believe it was Heather who left this comment that the combat feels quite slow. And I'm right there with you. I agree. So if we hop back in, I should probably unplug the music. I think I put it in the level blueprint. I'm using blueprint because I love it. I do need to learn how to use C#, and I'm starting to. But I just enjoy working in blueprint a lot more. So, oops. I'll not spawn in the lava this time. So try out combat with the oops. And it does help. It certainly makes a difference. But the overall feel is it's not just the speed of the attacks. So one thing that I just thought of right before I started recording is if we go into the player, which it's been a little while, so I don't remember. I'll try Dave. Yeah, Dave player character. So if we go into the player, right now part of this script, it stops your movement every time you attack. Ooh, jeez. Attack. Okay. Uh, all this. We have attack count And sure, it places different animations. I see stop movement in the final attack in the string. I don't actually see it for the previous ones. So we have this thing to where if you're moving, it resets your attack count, but it shouldn't actually. Um, Attacking shouldn't stop your movement unless you're at the end of the string and it does this. This is the problem with not working on something for a while. This is a function, so it's worth looking in here to see if we're doing anything. Does not look like it. Huh. Well, oh wait. Okay. Here, this is what it is. So the movement input doesn't fire if attacking is set to true. Sorry if you saw that before I did. I don't know how much of this I'll edit down. So I'll just plug these in and see what happens. Um, so now I can, oh look at that. It does not look normal. Okay. What's the flash step button? It's F for flash step. Okay. This feels a lot better. I'm also really OP. I can't remember if in the original you could move while attacking like this. I don't think so. So that, to me, just from the small amount of playtesting we've done here, it seems like a huge, what are the words I'm looking for here? Like one of the primary reasons probably that the combat feels slow is that your movement was stopped every time you attack, which is, I feel like that's pretty standard. Honestly, I need to pay more attention to the games I play. I don't play a whole lot of games right now, actually. I've been playing a lot of Halo, which is just like completely different dynamic. I think it's pretty standard to stop moving when you attack. Like in Legend of Zelda, you stop moving, right? But there's also like a lock-on system. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's part of why I haven't come back to this. I'm a little bit stumped. But one thing I do when I'm stumped is I try to see if there's something else I can work on in the project, which is one of the reasons I enjoyed having so many roles in game development doing stuff solo, so that I can just jump between different parts of development. So that's what I'm thinking I'll do here is look at modeling. Nothing exciting, unfortunately, but this tower here is going to be the skyscraper. So we've played striderbound 1.0, which I think maybe I'll just call the alpha and this can be the beta. Uh, Basically, the first area you go to is this skyscraper, this big tower. So I was thinking I would recreate that in in the beta. So unfortunately, because my student license to Maya just expired, I can't open it up in Maya. So I've imported the FBX for this building into Blender. So I'll open that up now. Here he is. I'm not super familiar with Blender, so forgive me. I'm gonna make a lot of goofs. This building is called Building 2. This is an excellent naming structure. We go into edit mode. We see the madness going on here. Basically, if you're not, if you are familiar with modeling, you're probably very upset with me. But if you're not familiar, um, this is just like a bunch of basic three-dimensional shapes that are made out of two-dimensional shapes. So we have a bunch of flat faces combined into these I-beams. And there's a whole lot of them. Basically, why I said people would be upset is that there's a lot of geometry going on here, right? And there's a lot of these in the level. It's not used particularly effectively. But I'm not going to worry about any of that right now. Basically, what I want to do with the skyscraper is to make even more geometry. I think I will just have a 3x3 of these, I think is what I'll do. So if I can remember the shortcut for duplicate, here we go. Oh, it's not going the direction I want it to. I don't know how to control this object. Let's see. Oh, I can hold a hotkey. A friend of mine was helping me with Blender recent. Here we go. So I can press buttons as you do on my keyboard to basically lock this movement. Oops. I don't know how to undo that. Oh, found it. I can press X, Y, or Z while I'm inside this movement component to lock the axis that I want to move on. So right now I want to move on Y, and it's already moving on Y, so that works. I'm not sure this is quite lined up. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we'll go with it. We'll see how. Actually, I want to delete some of the. That's not what I want. Median point. I forgot how to. If you hit F, it'll focus on what you have selected. Let me look up how to do that. Blender focus selected. This is a really handy shortcut that I ought to know. Try pissing. Try pissing. Try pressing period. Oh, numeric keypad. That's kind of a weird shortcut. Okay, if you press period on the numeric keypad in Blender, that is focus selected, which is what I want. And I'm going to go into edit mode, see all these beautiful faces, and delete a whole bunch of them. If I do this, I'm going to grab some of the faces from these horizontal I-beams so I can just control select. Oh, that didn't really. That is the worst selection of all time. I wanted to get all of these beams on the side. It's just not super intuitive, which is the reason that game design seems super scary and intimidating, and it's not that hard. I mean, I say that, but I can't do this. Okay, so I found it out um, with, so here we are in one of our many buildings. So with X-ray mode, right? Oh, I have to be in edit mode, X-ray mode. I can shift select some stuff. And then I found the hotkey for grow selection, which is Control plus, but only the numpad plus. So I do this, then I grab a bunch of other stuff I don't want. And even deselecting it, we have some stuff in here that's gonna get deleted, but I don't care too much. So we can, so there's a quick way to delete a bunch of these faces. So that's nice. I'm learning Blender, guys. It's happening. We're doing it. We're making it happen. There we go. Okay. So hop out of edit mode and make all these other buildings visible. Okay. So now if we shove these all together, should have like a mega building, which should be the first floor of skyscraper. This is hard to look at. Mostly I'm just curious as to what will happen. So I want to export as FBX into legit Maya files, which is a folder I made for, did it work? There we go. For Maya files I made with the commercial license as opposed to the student license, but Blender files you can also use commercially. So that is a valid place to put that, even if it does get a misnomer. Let's see, I want to put this in scenery. I am very bad at thinking while talking, which is not. How do I move the camera in Unreal? What have I done? How have I entered an orthographic view in Unreal? This has never happened to me. Control middle mouse click in Unreal does some weird things. I no longer know how to do anything. Here we go. So I just want to grab skyscraper, auto generate collision. We'll see how well that works. Oh no, I didn't merge them. Unreal, like, yeah, this is, I can't do anything. And I've got a very nice error block here. And it might even remember what materials are attached to it. Oh, it's certainly got Z fighting. I can see it in the thumbnail. Or it's got something. How do I move the, oh, here we go. I've forgotten how to move the camera in Unreal. It's been too long. Okay, in fact, it's not remember what materials are on it. I should do that inside of the editor here. So if I need to duplicate this, it's good to have materials attached in the, I guess you would call it the prefab. That's a big thing in Unity, a difference between a prefab and like an instantiation. So let's see. Here's the gear materials. We have just like a basic steel. I'll drag on to here. Ooh, that's laggy. I think so. As a little cheat, I have I have surfaces in here that are supposed to be invisible, just to give Dave some geometry to walk on that is that's invisible, just to prevent problems. Let me, okay, I actually can't tell. Okay, that is supposed to be steel. So isolate is really handy and lets you see what's going on. This is also steel. Isolate this, also steel. This is a bit laggy because it's a lot of geometry. I did not optimize this. So let this be a lesson. Also because I just smash it together. You have Z fighting, like right here. It's where multiple faces are occupying the same space. And you'd think that one of them would just tell the other one to go ahead because Z fighting looks terrible. But instead they fight for dominance. And you see it flip-flop back and forth like that because they both occupy the same space. Yeah, I didn't check. Yeah, there we go. Which you see a lot of that in games actually, like real fully fledged games made by people. I have fucked something up here. Oh wait, I missed one. Here we go. And still though, there's supposed to be um, separate material applied in here that was invisible. Instead, we've got this solid block, which is not what I wanted. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this in the level and see what happens. So we've got a big boy here. Go ahead and delete this big old placeholder cube. And the reason its shadow is still there has to do with this warning that you probably can't see very well over the red lava, is that the lighting is actually pre-computed and it has to be built before these changes, before you'll see any of these changes. So I'm really struggling. I'm also doing this in my second monitor, which is further away from me, because OBS doesn't seem to recognize my main one anymore. Not sure what the deal is with that. So I've got all kinds of excuses today, essentially. That's what I'm saying. Of course, because it's perspective, I'm not sure if I'm actually lined up there. Let's just see how it looks. Oh, okay. And it looks up. These guys are relentless. So the reason I couldn't walk into it is because it's using simple collision by default. So it's like, oh, this is a big cube. I'm just gonna make the collision a huge box collider. So if we open this back up, unclick that, show me simple collision, it's just a big box, which is nice. Unreal would sure like to use that. Instead, we're gonna ask it to use this, which is another reason. All of this geometry in the floor basically is pointless, because that's not gonna get used. I should have done a different method for that. Regardless, I can, let's see, in the collision here, collision complexity, use complex as simple. I don't know why it's worded like that, but that makes it use the complex collision. So now I can walk in here. Yay. Jump around again. It looks a little bit weird because I messed up the materials. So we have featureless floor. Also, they can't. They don't understand how to go around obstacles. Now that I've walked over here, these guys should follow me in. Yeah, it's a small enough gap. I can run straight in. So this is pretty cool, just like a big open space to put stuff in. If you've seen the original project, there's an elevator in the middle, but it's broken, so you have to go up the left side over here, and there's the thing that goes around the outside. There's a boss fight at the top, and then you go down on the right side at the end, and then you can loop back around. Basically, a little mini dungeon. So I'd like to recreate that in this project. I think that would be fun. I just I don't know when I'll get around to it. So to wrap this up, I'll well first let me see what this looks like. I just think this would be interesting to quickly just see what this would look like. The skyscraper is built all the way up. I'll start from on top of this building over here. It's a little bit plain, but like if you put some gears on the outside, and here I'll build the lighting, spinning gears and like flowing lava pouring out of it. I think it would look basically like the stuff out of the comic. This is gonna take a second, but it was very fast compared to what I've dealt with in Unity. Look at that. In Unity, the project I did in Unity, it took half an hour at best to bake the lighting. So this is a blessing. It is making my computer unhappy. Ugh. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if it's good. It's like casting a shadow against the sky. Got a weird effect going on here. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's almost very cool. I think the fact that you can't see through the floors like this actually is kind of a blessing, because if you could see all the bars, it's just too much to look at. Anyways, this has just been a little fun mess around in striderbound in the editor in Blender, kind of just showing you what my process is like. Apologizing for not actually doing anything in the game for a while. So I figured I'd at least give you this much, and we'll see where it goes from there. As for other content on this channel, I'd like to start doing stuff again. Like Let's Plays, and there's other types of content I'm considering. As far as the easy mode is hard. We had a weekly series going on that I don't think I'll I don't think that'll return until Rachel's audio is resolved. I'm not sure when that'll happen, but I might do it by myself or get another guest. I'm not sure, but keep an eye on this channel if you want to, and if you do, I guess I'll see you next time.